Jones, and today we're going to explore social studies and computer science and how these two disciplines can integrate and have been integrated for centuries. We know that the history helps to influence our future, and that is no different in the world of computer science. We have used many of the innovations that have happened in our historical past to influence the technology that we use today. Today, we're going to explore and talk about a concept called encryption, which has been used in our history for many years. But first, let's take a look at the definition of what is computer science. Computer science, at the foundation, is the study of computers, the algorithmic process that goes into processing computers, and talks about principles of their hardware and their software that help to impact our society. Technology is a combination of software and hardware, and those two combined create a really cool, powerful opportunity for us to use technology to make our everyday lives better. The way in which we've implemented technology is definitely based on our historical past of the Industrial Revolution, the creation of the personal computer, using encryption as it has been used in the past with Morse code, and the way in which the soldiers communicated during World War II. But before we dive in a little bit deeper, let's talk about how we're going to use the concepts of our history with the current concepts, what we call computational thinking. When we get ready to solve any problem, we think through decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithm. Did you know that? Anytime you start to solve a problem, you immediately start to figure out, you start breaking that problem down in your brain. You begin to pattern match to figure out how you could find similarities and differences. You take out what you don't need to solve the problem, and then you create a step-by-step process. We do this pretty quickly in our brains, but in the computer, we have to really think through it because the computer doesn't have a brain, and we have to tell it what to do. Computer language is based on something called binary, and binary are zeros and ones, or you can think of it as on, off, true, false. In the computer world, zeros and ones are what the computer understands, and that is simply how the computer works, and it's also based on encryption. Using those zeros and ones, we're able to create letters and numbers. So let's take a look at the vocabulary word for today, binary. Binary is a way of representing information using only two symbols. And if we can think about how that's been used historically, you can think about Morse code or Julius Caesar, how he communicated with one another. Or you can even think simply, for those of us that may be a little bit more seasoned, we may have had a beeper and you use particular numbers or symbols to communicate with your peers on a beeper. We use the same thing today with emojis and hashtags. In this particular activity, we're going to create binary bracelets. A binary bracelet is simply having a student color or draw out their name using beads, construction paper, pipe cleaners, however you want to make their bracelet, and it's going to be encrypted based on their information. This is a Modern Marvels video here. This link is here, and it will be provided to you as well, where you can see how secret codes have been used for centuries. As I mentioned earlier, Julius Caesar was one of the first that used simple coding, and it goes in all the way into the wars, into communicating via sign language, text message, etc. You can use binary codes to have kids solve them. So what you might like to do is put up on the board using encryption a message and see if the students can figure it out. They will be using computational thinking by trying to figure out your encrypted message. And remember, you can make your encrypted message any way you like as long as you provide a key. So let's take a look at the binary bracelet lesson. What I would suggest is to write a short message on the board, see if the students can figure it out. And here are the encrypted pieces that you can use for binary language on the computer. An A is black, white, black, 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 white. And that is using binary. Zeros could be white, ones could be black. You can make that decision based on how you want it to be. You can then have the kids figure out how to write their own message using this key. So let's reflect. Encryption and using codes has been done in history for many years. The same process happens when we're working with computers and understanding how a computer understands numbers. A computer really only understands zeros and ones, so we have to create an encrypted language so the computer understands. The same has occurred in history. See if you can get your students to create their own encrypted message. Use colors, use beads to create a bracelet based on A, B, or C. Have them do their initials with two color. You can have them two different colors. One color is 0, one color is 1s. And they can encrypt A, B, and C using blue, white, blue, 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 white. And then maybe put a spacer, and then they do B. This is a really cool activity, and the kids get excited about trying to solve the puzzles. And you're using computational thinking. This has been a reflection on how to integrate social studies and computer science. I look forward to seeing you next time.